Brady Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Now open for questions.
Brady, what are your memories of last year's Western Final?
Yeah, it was definitely cold, a lot chillier. IG Field packed with fans, loud. I remember in the fourth quarter, a couple drives with BC's offense, them not being able to communicate. So I would predict that to happen again with our fans. Probably being another sold-out crowd, and it's going to be loud. So it was a fun one last year. I remember obviously the ground game was going, and hopefully we can get that going again this game come tomorrow.
Which part was making you smile more there, the cold or the fans?
Both. You guys know me already by now. The identity of this offense. With running the ball, I think the cold weather definitely does help us. I think it's to our advantage, and then obviously having the fans. It's that extra additive motivation and juice that gets us going and gets us fired up.
With a week away from playing a game, where do you feel the offense will be at tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that bye week was good. We're able to obviously mentally sharpen up. Build our football IQ, study our opponent, and just get better in that sense. So we're ready to go. We're excited for the task at hand, and we know it's gonna be a battle tomorrow.
Brady, there's a bit of a historic element to this game too. No Winnipeg team has ever been to 4 straight Grey Cups, at least based on my feeble research. I'm guessing for a Winnipeg guy that might mean something to you.
Yeah, let's be the first. Let's be the first team to do it. Obviously, we got a big test tomorrow, but I trust each and every person in this locker room to go out there and do their part, give me their best effort, go out there and honor our teammates, and go get the job done to make it 4 straight Grey Cup appearances.
Has the word dynasty ever entered the dressing room?
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't at all. Not once. We really like to focus, obviously one game at a time, and every team is different, right? This team is a different team than it was last year. Obviously familiar faces, but yeah, just focus on us, continue to do what we do, and yeah, let's get the job done tomorrow so we can make it 4 straight.
Do you expect BC's defense to make stopping you the #1 priority? And if so, how does that affect the game?
Yeah, I would think so. You got to bring your best, man. That's all I got to say. You got to bring your best.
Seems you guys wore them down in the second half in Vancouver last time you played them. How much of a key is that to your team's success, you think, as the game goes on, you guys tend to get stronger offensively?
Absolutely. I mean, we got a physical bunch on this offensive unit. Everyone knows how great our offensive line is, but our receivers, wear those DBs out physically in the run game. Continuing from the first snap to the last snap of the game. So, I always like to say, you got to bring your best for an entire 4 quarters against this team, and if it goes into overtime, because we got no stopping us. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna play a physical game from the jump. So if you bring your best for 3 quarters, it ain't gonna work against us. I'll tell you that right now.
Brady, the Lions depth chart, Ben Hladek is out for them at middle linebacker, Josh Woods is in. How does that change things for you?
Yeah, Ben Hladek had a great year. Obviously, I was rooting for him. Canadian kid as well, right? I had a great year, so I was definitely cheering for him. Hopefully, he gets better with his recovery, and I don't know how serious it is, but hopefully he's back and ready to go for next season. But he was a stud this year, so that's definitely a key part that they're missing on that defense. But all around on that team, that defense, they got good depth, especially at the linebacker group. So whoever they put in there, they'll do a great job. Obviously, they've probably been preparing, quite hard for us. It's going to be a good challenge, and whoever's in that spot, we're going to keep on doing what we do.
You guys have the #1 run game in the league, BC #9. When the weather turns, how much pride do you have in being that top rushing team this season?
Absolutely. We take pride of, if shove comes to push and we got to put it on our back, we're very capable of doing it, and this group and this unit takes pride in that, knowing that we can get the job done. We can close out games in the fourth quarter, and if it's a tight game, we can still get the job done on the ground and win football games for this club. So it's exciting. I think it makes it a lot easier for myself when I have an offensive line like I do, and receivers that are willing to go in there and get their nose dirty. I mean, I think I look at guys across the league and this receiving group, what we asked them to do and them going in there and digging out linebackers, digging out defensive ends, and they're willing to do it and they do a great job of it. I mean, it makes my job a lot easier. So, we're excited, man. It's going to be a good test tomorrow.
Speaking of receivers, Brady, obviously Dalton's not in. You have Nick Dembski and Rasheed Bailey as game time decisions. How concerning is the health of that receiver group right now?
Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Guys, even throughout the bye week, I think it was a great time for getting young guys up to speed and just letting them know, hey, like if you're put in this position, we got full trust and belief in you to get the job done. So that bye week was good for that, and obviously this week, let some guys get some reps, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But like I said, if we have to put the team on our backs, with this offensive line and myself, we're very capable of doing so.
You mentioned a couple minutes ago just about every team is different, every year is different. How much of that reality is top of mind as you go into this playoff with, I'm not some aging guy, teams change every single year. Just how much of that, knowing that this is going to be the only, this last stretch with this exact team is top of mind?
Yeah, it's this is why I really want another week at this thing, because this group is special. Obviously, it's not going to be the same group next year. We know that's just the way it goes in the CFL. So, like every week, I'm going to go out there and give it my all, and I'm going to go and honor my teammates, and I expect that from the guy next to me and this entire roster to go out there and truly do your part and give me your best effort, be the most physical guy in that football field tomorrow, and do your job. And let's get this thing going for another week. And it's a special group, like I said, so let's keep this thing going.
This last one for me, it was obviously a very somber dressing room at the end of last season. I could probably make the argument you might have been the most distraught in that room. I know you guys have moved past that game, but how much of that feeling from last year creeps up as motivation or whatever you could use it for?
Yeah, I mean, I play this game, and I think we all have the same mentality. Play this game to win championships, and I definitely do remember, that feeling I had last year in the Grey Cup in that Saskatchewan locker room. So, like I said, I want this thing to go on another week, and I know the group that we have, and I know that we can get it done this year. Like, I truly believe that. So, obviously it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to come down to the wire, but we have the group to get it done and to make and let this thing keep going for another week and put us in a good position to go win another Grey Cup.
Brady, obviously you put up some pretty big numbers in this game last year. Just what did that do for your confidence, and how does it help you maybe this time around, knowing that you've already kind of been on this stage and been able to prove it?
Absolutely. I think, looking at last season for myself, I think I played my best football in the postseason. So, even looking at this season, I think as a running back, it's so instinctive, and you go through, the weeks of the season and you get into a mid-season form, and then as the end of the season comes, you should be playing at your best and be playing at a very high level. You've been working on your craft throughout the year, and now you're primed up. You're ready to go. So that's exactly how I feel right now. I feel like every single week I've been getting better and better and better, and I think I'm peaking at the right time, and I'm going to show it tomorrow.
We know the competitors that Dembski and Rasheed are, obviously. Just what have you seen from them this week? I'd imagine they're working pretty hard to have a chance to play tomorrow.
Yeah, those guys are true pros. They do the right things all the time. So obviously we want them in the lineup tomorrow, so we'll see what happens with that tomorrow. But they were working all week, and they're excited for the game tomorrow, and they'll see what happens tomorrow. But if they're in there, you know what you're going to get from them.
Brady, this is I think what you'd call a marquee matchup of quarterbacks, top two passing teams in the league, top two passing quarterbacks in the league. What would you say are some of the reasons why having Zach on your side is a big advantage to you guys?
Yeah, that guy's a stud. Whenever you put the ball in his hands, and if he steps up in the pocket, throws the ball downfield, or gets out of the pocket, and he's just able to make plays. The guy's a true gamer, and having a guy like that, just maybe puts a little bit less stress and the workload off my shoulders, just knowing that, hey, we can do it in the pass game as well, and we've shown that we can, and we got the receivers to do it, right? So, obviously a vet like Zach, has been in big games like this through the course of his career, so he knows what it takes to get the job done, and that's the guy who I want on my side.
And as John mentioned before, you guys are first in the run and they're last in the run. Does that complementary part of your game, the fact that you do have the top passing or one of the top passing offenses and the top running offense, work in your favor?
Totally. I think to win, championships at this level, definitely you gotta have a run game. You can't be one-dimensional. And I think looking at our success throughout this season, the run game has definitely complemented the pass game, and it's definitely opened up the pass game. So, I think when we start fast and we're able to get the run game going, it definitely does open up the pass game, and we end up being very successful.
Brady, how do you kind of touched on some of this, how do you describe bully ball?
I don't really want to talk much about bully ball. We're we'll just let it show. We'll let it show tomorrow, but don't really want to speak much about it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a seat, Ed.
Sorry, Ed.
Yeah. Mike, anyone?
I gotta sit today.
Sorry. Does anyone else have?
Open for questions.
Morning, Zach.
Morning.
This is a matchup of the top two offenses in the league, really, top two passing games. Two quarterbacks who've had really, really good seasons. Just what's your thought on, I know you don't really match up against VA, but just your thought on what it's going to take to make sure that you guys have the stronger game offensively.
I think just sticking to what we talk about every week. Bringing in the physicality. Right from the handshake we always talk about. Sustaining drives, executing. Being efficient on first downs, and scoring touchdowns when those opportunities arise. So nothing too special. Just got to go out there and be ourselves.
How much does, as I mentioned, the passing games are pretty even in terms of the numbers. How much does it work in your advantage that you've had such a strong running game this year that gives you that complementary football?
It definitely gives us an advantage. Mostly on first downs when we do choose to pass, you get favorable looks if the other team is worried about the run game.
Zach, what do you love most about this time of year?
I enjoy getting to be around our teammates, for another week, right? Obviously, the magnitude of the game picks up a little bit. It's a do or die situation, so it's not going to be hard to, find the adrenaline for the game. But I just really enjoy the extra time, being around the team, being able to prepare with one another, and another shot to go out and execute.
I know you guys always talk about the next man up, and I know over the years there's been guys who have stepped up when someone else has been hurt. But to not have Dalton shown tomorrow, just how big is that for this offense, and maybe Rashid and Nick as well.
Yeah, Dalton. Obviously is a huge part of what we've done the last two seasons. So that it's never easy going in a moment without him, and not sure about Nick or Rashid yet, obviously, but. Dalton, to answer your question, is a pivotal part of what we do. A special player, a special teammate, special person, as I always talk about. So, anytime you lose somebody like that, it's tough.
How do you remain confident knowing that your number one receiver isn't going to be playing tomorrow?
Just execution, preparation, obviously. Execution obviously was the wrong word there, but just the preparation that you put in, with the guys, not just this week, but throughout the season. Finding time to get the extra reps and talk through the different looks with the guys. Times like this is when that pays off.
The pressure to win. I saw a quote from you this week in Jeff's piece where you said sometimes you even wonder if you enjoy the winning part anymore. You're just relieved that you didn't lose. Can you expand on that a bit, when that began and how you deal with it?
I think I also mentioned to Jeff that I've been really privileged and lucky to be in really good programs my entire life. So, that expectation of winning is something that I've been accustomed to, as I'm sure a lot of the guys in the locker room are with the makeup of our team. So, Yeah, you prepare to win. You know, again, you go out there to honor your teammates every single week. You know, starting in practice, starting in the meetings. You know, and when you win the games, obviously you enjoy it, but there's times where you're like, I'm happy we got out of that one. So, I don't think you're in the right business if you're not putting pressure on yourself to win.
I think I saw you say a while back too that you're a bit of a history guy, and that no Winnipeg team has ever been to 4 straight cups. So I don't know what that means to you, whether you've delved into the Bud Grant, Ken Plain eras at all.
Ed we haven't gotten to that chapter yet together, I don't think. He knows we're trying to just focus one game at a time. So,
Sure.
but yeah, again, we've been really lucky, and not lucky, we put the work in, right? Fortunate to be in the locker room with these guys, to take the field every week with them. You know, we're excited to go out there and do it again tomorrow.
And tomorrow's on Remembrance Day. This team has only played one game in its recent history since the 50s on Remembrance Day, a home game. Any special connections for you that means something more? Or?
My grandfather was in the service, but I think it's special to honor our veterans. Obviously, you know, people who go out there and sacrifice a lot for us to live comfortably. So I think it's a special thing.
Thank you.
Just for the official record, both those quotes were in the story. The one you mentioned. Zach, I'm wondering with the uncertainty around your receivers group, how that's changed your last week and a half as far as preparation.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it hasn't changed much of it. Obviously, you think about things in a different way, and just how to say certain things in the huddle, or say things as we're breaking the huddle. Just little reminders or during the week, depending on who that guy is going to be. But I try to stick to the same process, for myself personally. But obviously, it's finding time to get an extra rep with, whoever that might be at a certain spot. So.
I know you're very vocal with your teammates about your appreciation and gratitude for them. I'm wondering, this is the first time this season you're going to be going into a win or go home game. If that kind of appreciation or that gratitude ramps up, if that kind of if there's a bit of a different vibe amongst the team given the stakes.
For me personally, it always ramps up, around this time of year, and like you said, it is an appreciation thing. I haven't said anything to the guys yet. I probably won't before the game. I mean, everybody in there knows how we feel about each other, obviously, but I'm very appreciative and grateful to be around a group that I'm around day in and day out, to come into work and enjoy it every single day, and to strive toward a common goal together is really special. Again, we're really blessed to all be around each other in that respect.
Zach, you guys brought the Lions here twice this year in the regular season. First game, there was a lot of protection problems. You took a lot of hits, a lot of sacks. Second one, the protection was close to perfect, and you put up 50 points. How much of a confidence booster is it that maybe after the first time the Lions came here, you guys took such strides in such a short amount of time?
I think each game is different, obviously. I'm sure that BC would say the same thing about the last 2 games, and there's things that they could have done better to maybe, reverse the outcome. So each game is a bit different. I think tomorrow it's just really important for us to execute our game plan and what we want to do, and those kind of things will take care of itself. But they obviously are really talented up front. Bet's had an unbelievable season, and not just him. They're really good across the board there. And again, as I always talk about with BC, they're back in this a veteran-led group. They communicate really well, whether it's in their man leverages or just what type of zones they want to play for the day. Ryan's got them limit at a high level, so it's going to be important for us to again, get aligned, know our assignments, and execute at a high level. For us to win.
Ben Hladek is out tomorrow. Josh Woods is in at middle linebacker. 2 kind of different styles of play there. Touch on how that might change things for you guys in your preparation.
Hladek's had a great season, but Woods has played a lot of football for them as well. Whether it's in their 3 linebacker packages, whether it's their 3-3 fronts or their 5-3 kind of look. So he's an experienced player, a really good player. He understands again what they're trying to do defensively. I expect a really good game from him.
The season series was decided in overtime, very strong stats, offensive and defense for both teams. What do you think the Bombers have, some kind of intangible that you think can give you guys the edge?
I think it's always sticking to our core tenets that we talk about, and honestly, and obviously as well, just honoring each other with our preparation, each and every week. Obviously leading into this game, that's an important thing, and I think we've done a good job of it this week. But whatever that looks like for each individual player, honoring your teammate as well as, never losing belief while you're out there. Going out there, having that snap and clear mentality, the next play is the most important play, and just try to execute that one because that play is the most important play.
Final question.
Given that the trip to the Grey Cup is on the line, how much different, if any, is your mental preparation ahead of this game than, let's say, any other regular season game?
Yeah, again, I really try to stick to the same process week in and week out. I'm a big repetition kind of person, whether that's a mental rep or a physical rep. So, I try to not to veer from that and to remind the guys, again, obviously there's a lot on the line for this game, but, we're here for a reason. Stick to what your process is. If it needs to be a little more intense this week because you might be, getting a little more reps and pick it up, but, we're here for a reason and guys understand what it takes to prepare.
Perfect. Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, guys.
Our shipping got a lot wrong. They're supposed to be here. They're on house lost somewhere in the team.
So guys,
They'll be here.
probably tomorrow.
Probably. Oh. We're good. Now for questions.
I'll go ahead. Adam, last weekend when you're watching BC and Calgary play and you're seeing Adams scramble and extend plays, what kind of thoughts are going through your head, or are you doing anything while you're watching it?
You're saying that don't let him do that, he's pretty good at it. So, a key to winning a game against a quarterback that can move is you got to limit that, because 1, 2 extended first downs you might be able to live with, try to eliminate points. But if it's 4, 5, 6 of those, you got to get off the field. And if you can continually do that all game, you're gonna have problems.
And what do you just think of the game that he had and the momentum that their offense has off of that game?
Well, I think Zach said it earlier. It's every game is a new game. I don't know if they can necessarily carry that same momentum. Obviously, the execution on their level offensively last week was very high. It was very, very well done. He had a great game. For a playoff game, it was a really, really good performance. And so it ain't gonna look the same tomorrow. They're going to have a different style of game plan coming after us, but nonetheless, he's still going to try to run, still going to try to extend plays. Obviously, still a key to the game is limiting that.
You look at the balance that your offense has had this season. Very good running game, very good passing game. You look at BC; it's a very great passing game, not so much utilizing the run. I'm wondering how much, given the tape you watch, given the team's tendencies, that you can assume certain things, like assuming they're not going to run, or do you have to get prepared for every situation?
Yeah, you have to prepare for every situation. A team has an identity in what they want to do and who they want to be, but it doesn't mean that they won't run the ball or they're not going to. We fully expect them to try to run the ball, especially in a little colder weather conditions. So, we're definitely ready to play the run and have to adjust from there.
Saying the defense hasn't lacked personality in previous years, but it seemed like the personality of the defense has really come out this year. Where you've had the shirts that just get to work kind of stuff like that. I'm wondering what the attitude of the defense is right now, given the way you played the last couple of weeks of the season and heading to this obviously win or go home game.
Yeah, every year we talk about in playoffs is defense wins championships. If we can limit points, it's gonna be hard for them to win. And it's that time of the year where we definitely want to put it on our back, and be a major reason in why we can be winning football games in the playoffs. So, our identity right now is that's it. It's let's go win a championship. Put it on their back.
Adam, obviously you talked a bit about Vernon Adams and what he brings to the game, what you guys have to watch for, but you guys also have a pretty good quarterback. Can you just give a thought on what Zach Collaros brings to big games like this?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, there's so many different one words you can give it, moxie of, leadership or preparedness, confidence. I mean, it's maybe best described as control. Zach's going to be in control. He knows what he wants to do. He knows how he wants to attack. He knows what he's looking for. And that's confidence. That's from the amount of work he puts in, the amount of work our offense put in together, understanding each other, playing for each other. And that's why I always put my chips on our offense. I always put my chips on Zach because I know what he's capable of.
How much of a benefit is it to your defense that this offense has been so balanced this year in terms of being able to move the ball on the ground, in the air, get first downs in lots of different ways? When your guys aren't on the field as much, obviously it makes it a little easier to play this game, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think for any brand of football, I mean, you want your offense to control more clock. I think that's going to be the most advantageous way to win games consistently across the board. And so, on defensively, when we're on the field less, we're fresher, and we're able to pin our ears back. And our offense has been great with controlling the clock. I don't know how many games we would have lost the time, a possession battle, and I'm not sure how many there would have been. So yeah, it's a huge advantage playing in our home stadium here with the crowd noise. A huge advantage. Looking forward to getting it going. Excited.
So Brady Oliveira said that everyone puts pressure on themselves every week to win a game. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I put the most amount of pressure on me, no matter what anyone says out there and what they expect. That doesn't add to my shoulders at all because I've already put the most amount of pressure on myself to succeed and to execute. And then, that way, my game never has to fluctuate. My game is always going to be here. I know where I need to prepare to. I need to know the level of work I need to do. And when you do that, it gives you confidence. And that's why you can play at such a high level and get in the zone and not let anything distract you and really go out there and leave your mark on the game.
And I'm not saying that pressure is a distraction, but how do you eliminate distractions to make sure your mental game is on point? It's just by keeping your mind in what matters. All I think about, is really football. I come here and it's football, and when I'm able to go home, I can, turn that off and be with family and do the other things I need to do. And so, I think at the end of the day, you know what really matters, right? And there's no way you can really get distracted from what really matters.
Adam, is there more pressure on this defense knowing that your offense is missing its number one receiver and a couple other guys are nicked up as well?
I don't think so because, our offense is still going to do what they do. We got a lot of great guys over there that can play ball. So, like I said, we already said that, we're going to put it on our shoulders either way defense wins championships. And so, that's really excitement for us. We're excited. There's no pressure when you're excited. There's no pressure when you're prepared, right? You go out there and let it all go. And you really have fun doing it. Playoffs, it's a different feeling. It's different speed. It's a different level of excitement. It's going to be a lot of fun out there.
You've played against Vernon Adams for several years now when he was on different teams also as well. Have you noticed anything different about him this year?
I think, just the offensive scheme that he's working in has helped allow him to develop as a different kind of quarterback. I think the offensive coordinator, Masimic, out there is pretty good and helps. It's really helped him elevate his game, and I think he's done a lot of great things this year that he's shown that he can do other things that he had done before, which is a credit to him. It's a credit to their scheme and their coaching. He's developed into more of a complete quarterback, and that's obvious by throwing for over 5,000 yards and doing the things that he's done, right? So, he's had a good season, and it's been a different kind of season for him in terms of how he's done it, right?
Last question, Paul.
You could be the first Blue Bomber team to get to a 4th straight Grey Cup. Does that resonate at all with you guys?
It will when we get there.
In that history, that sense of making some history, does it mean anything? Could potentially?
It will when we do it.
Yeah, okay. One last thing, Remembrance Day game, I don't know, it's only the second time in 50 years there's been a game here on Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, whatever it's called in the US. Any connections for you that makes this a special day to play a football game?
Well, I got some family and friends and a lot really that have been in the military, and we understand the level of sacrifice that's gone into everyone's freedom, right? And there's a bigger world outside of football, and all the battles we talk about in the football world are really nothing compared with some of the battles that really go on in the lives that are really have been lost, right? So it's a different kind of thing that can weigh on you, and you got to think about, and it's but at the end of the day, it's we got to play for each other and remember what we're out there doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Willie, for most of you guys, this is your 4th straight Western Final. Can you even tell that in the locker room? Like, do you guys just seem even more calm than you guys have in your years past at this stage, or not so much?
I feel like everybody in the locker room is pretty just locked in and focused on going out and playing a clean game, a physical game, fast game, and just going out there and just giving our fans everything that they hope for.
What do you make of this season series that you guys have had with BC? Obviously it's kind of been a roller coaster. The first game didn't go your way, obviously. Then, the next one you guys pumped them pretty good. Then the last one goes to overtime. So what's kind of the biggest takeaway from this 3-game series, do you think?
It's been a serious heavyweight fight. Like you said, the first game, I think at that time we played BC here at home. Both teams were undefeated, things like that. And then the second time we played them back at home, it was pretty much like how you guys put it, was basically like the revenge game and things like that. And we came out, played a great game, offense, defense, special teams, and then that last game in BC, having to go out there and win a tough one in overtime, and basically put us in the first in the West to give us the home playoff game here for the final. It's been, like I said, it's been a heavyweight fight, just trying to throw punches, trying to land punches, trying to, play some good defense, get that offense off the field, get our offense on the field, keep our offense on the field, put some points on the board when we can, and it's been tough.
Just last one for me. Just what do you say about this defense at this time of year? Adam was just talking about how much pride this defense takes. You guys want to put on your back kind of thing. Just what do you say about this defense? And you guys had some pretty big playoff performances in recent years. So just what's kind of the mindset of this defense at this time of year?
Just go out there and do our best. If we can, get off the field on second down, get to the quarterback as early and often as we can, stop the run on first down, be dominant on first down, and when we get the opportunity to get takeaways, take the ball away, put the ball on the ground and things like that, try to get on it. Our defense is tough. We smart, we communicate, we run to the ball. We try to do that, 4 quarters, and in the 4th quarter we tend to lock in and do our best work. So we're trying to do that again, especially at home.
Watching Vernon Adams last week and just him scrambling and extending plays, does that get you amped up when you see that and you anticipate, the challenge of trying to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Most definitely. Watching the game, BC versus Calgary last week, seeing how he was able to, get out the pocket and extend plays with his legs and scramble around and run up and down the field to just get his team, first downs and things like that. It does get me excited, the defensive line excited, because that's not the type of defense that we want to put on the field for him. We're not going to go out there and allow him to run around and just scramble around and try to find open receivers down the field or try to scramble and get first downs with his legs. We're going to try to do our best to make him feel our pressure and get him on the ground, like I said, early and often.
And what is it you think your defense has that you can do that?
We got guys on our defense that believe in team. You know, we got bigs at the middle linebacker, you know, calling the shots. We got me and Jackson on the ends, pretty much bringing pressure from the outside, trying to keep them in the pocket. We got guys like Jake, Cam, and Rick on the inside, putting pressure right in his face. We got Kyrie, B. Cole, and Malik at the outside linebackers, you know, helping bigs, you know, keep the secondary, the middle of the field and the secondary locked down, and then we got guys in the back end with Rose, Holmes, Dietrich Nichols, and Parker, Retta. You know, those guys running around locking up receivers and stuff like that. They if we can make it hard on Vernon, get him to throw some bad balls, some late balls, some ugly balls in the air and things like that. Those guys back there have a chance to come down with it, or at least knock it down and put us in good field position to make it hard for them. If we can get them off the field, second and long, and things like that, get some good field position for our offense, it'll be a good day.
How much of an impact do you think the crowd will have it's leading towards a fifth straight sellout? Oh,
the crowd is going to be needed. You know, that's a part of our defense. That's a part of our culture. That's a part of, you know, our environment. We know for a fact when the defense is on the field that it's going to be loud. The offense on the field is going to be quiet because they're gonna let them work. But when we step on the field as a defense and we hear the crowd roaring and we see offenses in their huddle leaning in, trying to hear what the quarterback has to say, or the offensive line and the receivers running to the line, looking at each other, trying to figure out what's going on and stuff like that pretty much hypes us up. And then when we make a play on defense and the crowd goes crazy, or when we make a play on offense and the crowd goes crazy, it just brings a little bit more excitement to the sideline, a little bit more energy to the players that's on the field.
Willie, I'm wondering about the pressure and expectation to win, especially once you've been on top. Zach earlier this week was almost saying it's almost just a relief when you win. How about for you? Do you feel that pressure and expectation these days?
I feel there's always some type of pressure, especially when it gets to this time of season. You know, it's a win or go home type of scenario. So you do get a sense of relief after you played a hard-fought game and you come out on top with a win. You get a chance to sit back, take a deep breath, and then release it, and then know that you get to go on to the next week. So it is a sense of relief. But before you get that, it's always going to be pressure. It's going to be pressure for you to make the play, pressure for you to try to help make a play, pressure for you to not make a mistake. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, that's all a part of the game. You know, if like I want to say, I've been playing this game for a while, and like I still get butterflies before the game. So that's a part of it. Like if you don't get butterflies and you don't get nervous before the game and things like that, it's like why are you even playing the game?
Yeah. What's a stronger feeling for you, the thrill of victory or the agony of a defeat?
Man, I love winning. I love winning. Hate losing, but you know what I'm saying. You learn to lose in this game, but the hardest part is not your feelings about losing. It's seeing your brothers' faces and things like that after a loss. Especially like I said, win or go home. You take a loss and you go home. You gotta experience that until next season. Yeah. You feel me? So. Like I said, I don't want to see my brothers. I don't want to see my brothers, my teammates, my friends, my family members. I don't want to see them with sad faces and things like that. I love to come in the locker room after a hard-fought game with the win and seeing guys smile, seeing guys laugh, seeing guys shaking hands and things like that, and getting ready to go to the next week.
Last thing, you've been in the city now long enough to know a little bit about the feeling of the franchise, the history. Winnipeg's never gone to 4 straight Grey Cups. You could be the first team to do that. What would that mean to you?
It means it'll mean a lot if we could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard that's exactly what Big said. You know, it'll mean a lot to us when we do it. It'll mean a lot to us to bring that type of excitement back to the city of Winnipeg. You know, we go out there and we play hard, we play fast, we play tough. Not only for ourselves, not only for our families, not only for our friends back at home, but we do that for, you know, the organization and the fans. You know, our fans show up week in, week out, loudest fans in the CFL, and they give us everything they have, and and they expect us to do the same, and that's what we do when we step on the field. We go out there, we play Blue Bomber offense, defense, special teams, and we go out there and we try to win.
Willie, there's a handful of guys on the defense who will play either their first playoff game or their first playoff start. Any tips or things you hope they know for game day?
A tip that I can give to the young guys playing their first game is just go out there and do exactly what you did to get here, to be in this position. You're not by yourself. You got your brothers out there. You got your teammates out there. You got veterans out there, guys that love to communicate, guys that love to share the wealth. You know, when it comes to keys, when it comes to you know, things to look for before the play, during the play, while the play is going on. So just be in the moment. You know, don't take it for granted. Like you say, this is their first time, so I know their eyes are going to be wide. It's just take a step back, take a deep breath, and, you know, follow somebody that you know is going to lead you in the right direction.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
Sir.
Are we waiting for Bob Irving?
Always. Good. DT, you want to start us off?
Sure. Mike, from now until kickoff, what happens with Nick Dembski, Rasheed Bailey, Greg McCrae?
Work out, rest, come here tomorrow, work out, see how they do.
Will the evaluation, how close to kickoff does it happen? How early in the morning does it happen?
Yeah, I mean, we're not in a rush to wake them up, put it that way. You know, we're not just getting them out of bed, it's 5 in the morning. I guess the way it's written, we're allowed up until half an hour before game time. Whether it takes that long, I don't know yet.
At this moment, do you have a gut feeling about them? I'm going to try to read your face as you answer this question.
I always have a good gut feeling about players, so.
What does it mean to not have Dalton Schoen tomorrow?
That means his teammates will have his back and they'll play well, and it means that all the help he's given guys since he's not been playing, they'll be eager to put it out in the field and show, you know, how excited they are to play for him. Yeah.
Mike Winston Rose not being in the lineup tomorrow, what led to that decision?
We got good players, right? So, you know, Park just coming on strong. So, not an easy decision by any means.
Kind of just touched on it right there, but just how tough is that conversation with a guy like Winston who's been here, you know, a couple of years? And
yeah, trust me, he does not make it tough. He's a pro, and he's happy for other people's opportunities too. I'm not saying he doesn't want his, but he certainly, he'll do everything he can to make sure the guys play well.
just kind of jumping back to DT and DT's question about the game time decision guys, who ultimately has the final say? Because I would imagine those guys, even if they're in tremendous pain or whatever, they're going to say, "Yep, like I'm good to go." So how do you guys even judge that? Who really has the final say if they're good to go or not?
Well, if they're not medically cleared, then that would be the decision of training staff and doctors and the player, right? So, other than that, if they can be out there, then we have to look at what exactly they can do, what they're going to be asked to do, and that would be a decision with the coordinator, myself, and the player.
So how important is it for you to honor veterans and current military service members before or maybe during game preparations?
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, if I had my say, we probably wouldn't be playing on Remembrance Day. But I don't make the schedule, so I'll I'll do my part tomorrow morning for sure.
What will you be doing? Are you
No,
going to
personal.
a service or
It's
doing
always
it at home?
personal, yeah.
Okay.
Mike, just getting back to Jamal Parker, what is it that you've seen from him that, earns him a starting job in the West Final?
Yeah, he's fiery, tough competitor who's always wanting to stick his nose in there, so, those are, once again, they're always tough. There's such fine margins, right, when you have to make a decision like that, because Winston's a very good football player. I just think at this point, it looked like Park was coming on harder.
When you look at these two offenses, on paper and through the games that have been played this season, they're very evenly matched in terms of numbers, passing game, both really solid overall net yards. But where you guys seem to have a bit of an advantage is in the running game, where you've got the top running team in the league. Do you see that as something that can be really working to your advantage in a game like this?
Well, obviously we hope so, but we've said it for a number of years with this offense, and Buck's got a great feel for this. Whatever it's going to take in this game is where we're going to pivot to. So if it's running the ball, then that's fine. If it's not, then that's fine. We're going to figure out, and Buck will put the players in the best position possible for us to win the game, and whatever that looks like at the end is, no one's going to be concerned about that as long as we are working towards a victory.
I'm guessing it would give you confidence that you have been able to show such balance all season long with both the passing game and the running game, so you can win it whatever way you need to.
Yeah, I think we're confident in that regard, that whatever it's going to take, we're going to be able to figure that answer out.
Talk to a couple of guys about the expectation and the pressure that comes with having one and trying to stay on top kind of thing. Do you feel any of that?
Not really.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
How do you shield yourself from that and maybe teach other people not to absorb it?
Well, I think, I don't know that we spend a ton of time looking at history, right, in that regard. We're not trying to compare ourselves to last year's team, to 2019. I think the vets do a great job of recognizing where they're at right now and trying to stay in that moment, right? And so that doesn't necessarily include all those past experiences. Those experiences matter when you're trying to draw upon something that you've had happen in a game or in a season, and you're trying to get perspective for sure. But very quickly into a new season, they recognize it's a new team and are thankful for that group.
And having been in Winnipeg so long, a Bomber team never has gone to 4 straight Grey Cup games. To do that, would it mean something special to you? Or?
Not right now. No. I mean,
Those
everybody's goal is to get to that final game. That doesn't change. I think those types of questions are more easily answered 10 years from now when a bunch of guys are sitting around a bar having a beer and they haven't seen each other for a little bit.
Like fourth time you're going to play these guys this year in the CFL. That's a lot. As a coaching staff, how do you approach that? Playing this team so many times.
Yeah, you usually put your feet up and just have a nap in the office. I think the guys do a great job of reviewing everything as we go along. They don't leave it to the last minute to say, oh, let's go back and look at these games. They review the game the next day and make their notes, and then when they pull up video this week, there's notes, on a clip from the first time we played them. There will be 3 or 4 notes at the bottom of the play talking about what to do next or what the future, is on that play. So they're always well ahead in that regard when it comes to seeing an opponent in the playoffs.
No one can surprise each other really at this point.
And there's always wrinkles. Yeah, there's always wrinkles, and that's just relying on your foundation. What the players have learned over the course of the season. How to their decision-making process out in the field.
Coach, obviously elimination game, huge game, you're fighting for every inch you have. How good does it feel knowing you're going to have over 30,000 fans doing everything they can to help your defense especially, but help your team win?
Yeah, it's felt like sellouts every single game this year, whether they have been or not. We've got a fantastic group of people that show up weekly, you know, and they're into it. Once again, I say this every single time, they're extremely knowledgeable, and our players appreciate that and are grateful for their support and effort.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Awesome. The lines are here. They'll be down in just a moment. No.